Hello everyone again. We just thought we'd take you on our walking adventure to home from the river. So Chris, would you like to tell us a few sections of information of the local area?
So Murston.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so Murston is a suburb area of Sittingbourne, Kent, right? And, well, in 1798, sorry, it was actually once called Murston, actually.
Muston.
Murston, yeah. And it contains around about 1,000 acres of land of the area, which 30 appeared to used to be woodland.
Woodland.
Yeah, woodland. And, well, around here, salt marshes are around, right?
Lots of salt marshes.
Yeah, which
is through these bushes. Hello.
Which even today suffer winter fogs, which can be pretty foul smelling, right? Especially when the wind picks up and carries the smell further down towards the town. In 1870 to 72, something called John Marius Wilson's Imperial Gazette of England and Wales referred to Murton having a post office which was under Sittingbourne control at the time, and a quay and several docks on the creek, which, as you know...
Yeah, we explored some of the docks in this creek earlier, if you saw on the YouTube. If you just see over there where my finger's pointing, you can see the remains of dozens of old London barge boats, which are now going to shortly be submerged in the tide. And if you just see over there, you can see a massive fragment of one. That's really interesting.
The area, by the way, is also comprised of 1,317 acres of land and 145 acres of water.
Water, that's interesting.
The population in 1851 was 191 in Murston, and then in 1861 it rose to 572. There was also a ferry over the Swale to Emley.
Emley?
Yeah. The older records mention the manor of Hurst Hall. King Richard I, while at the siege of Acon in Palestine, this is a bit of history here, was assisted by Bartholomew de Murston of the manor. Later, John de Murston became owner of the manor during the reign of Edward III. Sir Edward Hales, 1st Baronet, was another owner of the manor, sorry, my English. And then the widow of Sir Roger Twiston, 6th Baronet, was the owner in 1798.
That's actually really interesting, Chris.
Also within the parish is East Hall, which also had a manorship. It passed through many hands, including the St. Leger family in 1377. It is now a Grade 2 listed building. The village, Murston, also has the Grade 2 listed Church of All Saints, which is in the Diocese of Canterbury and deanery of Sittingbourne. It also now acts as a branch of Kent Savers Credit Union. Then in 1990, Central Park Stadium was built for Sittingbourne Football Club, where it's now used by Kent Kings.
That's really interesting, thanks Chris.
But also, the one thing that Murston was very well known for was brickmaking.
Brickmaking,
it was
for
the centre
sure.
of brickmaking back in the day. And between 1830 and 1870, brickmaking employed over 50% of the local population. A man called George Smead, who was born in 1812 and died in 1881, was a local entrepreneur who developed the extractive industries and the related enterprises. In 1846, he started making bricks at Murston. These were Kentish yellow, known as stuck bricks, permeable bricks with a distinctive yellow ochre colour. Now they form on impermeable glaze when exposed to sulphur dioxide.
That's correct.
These need a slurry of 64% brick earth, the local subsoil, 25% town ash, and 11% chalk. In 1848, he produced 30 million bricks. In 1850, he established a Roman cement mill and later a second one. That he also ran a fleet of Thames sailing barges.
Yes.
And started constructing them. He built a gasworks at Murston in 1863 and leased land for the Burnham Brick, Lime and Cement Company. He built 2 cement bottle kilns at Murston. during the 1860s, he built 150 houses for his Murston workers. And by 1880, his company, Smead Dean, produced 50 million bricks. The company was sold to the Dunstable Cement Company in 1926, which is now part of Blue Cycle Industries.
Thank you, Chris. That's really interesting. So the area today where we have mudlarked has got grand history, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We may come back, will we? Maybe one day.
Also, a lot of the stuff I read will also be included in my project video that I am working on again.
Yep.
So you'll be able to actually hear it all again on my channel.
Yep.
Eventually, when I decide to actually get proper clips walking around. So stay tuned for that.
So make sure shortly you go to Chris's channel. What's it called again?
Chris's British Adventures.
Make sure you go to that, and Chris will have a video out shortly about what was it?
The history of Murston.
The history of Murston, which is located
in Sittingbourne, Kent,
Sittingbourne.
near the Swale Estuary.
Yes, grand history place. So we did.
Despite it being small, it has a lot of history.
Yes, it does.
If I remember correctly, during the Great Fire of London, Murston produced a great number of the bricks that helped rebuild it.
Yeah, that's true. They were marked as SB, I believe.
I believe so.
I have a few at home.
Lovely.
So just look at this area. The tide's sadly on its way. We've both just got back from mudlarking. The welly boots are in there with the finds, and there's Chris's finds. We had a great selection. We did do the Mudlark live over on the YouTube.
Check it out, Adam.
Yeah, so if you go into my channel, which most of you will know, you'll see that. So yeah, I'm just going to give you a few shots of the estuary itself around this corner. So here's one, if you can just see, it's all mud. That's the bottle dump. So if we just walk down.
Hope you're enjoying my history lesson.
Yes.
But will start calling me History Teacher Chris.
Yeah, History Teacher Chris. Right, so let's walk down. Chris, what's your best thing about mudlarking?
Oh, it's just knowing that any of the stuff you grab probably hasn't been touched in a century or two.
Yeah.
Like over a couple hundred years, and just knowing that you found it and picked it up,
yeah,
and you're holding the very history of our country in your hands.
Yeah.
It's just exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
Just knowing that if you find a Victorian bottle in that dump over there, you probably would be the first one to have touched it in over 100, 200 years.
That is very true, Chris.
And just knowing that you found it, you, no one else,
Just you.
is just makes you feel like you just saved a piece of history.
Yeah. So, how will we describe mudlarking? I'll go first. So, I'll describe mudlarking as not finding, it's not about the finds, it's about your surrounding area and where you are. My favourite quote and song, which will feature in most of my videos, the great outdoors, forever and free. So you're always in the great outdoors and you're free to do anything. You can go mudlarking all you like, apart from the Thames estuary. But yeah, so how would you describe mudlarking, Chris?
How I would describe it?
Yeah.
I would just describe mudlarking now as something that just allows you to save what little history we have left.
Yeah.
Because most of the history now is either in a museum or destroyed.
That is very true.
And so, when mudlarking to me is just saving what little history you have. And it's not just for England, it's for everywhere. Because all you need, let's say if you live in like Africa, just go to a river, go along the shores, and for all you know, you could find something from an old African tribe. And that's a piece of your history from Africa. It's just something to save what little history that we have left nowadays.
Also about mudlarking, I wouldn't expect on your first time to find everything. I wouldn't expect to find your first clay pipe on your first time, nor your first month. It takes time, a lot of time. Yeah. Even Chris hasn't found his first pipe yet, have you?
No.
How long have you been mudlarking now?
Oh, I mean, my first mudlarking was
back in October.
October, wasn't it?
Yeah, back in October of 2020. That was a good day too.
Yeah, that was a pipe day.
Yeah, that was a pipe day. Lots of football pipes.
Yeah, and that's when my channel officially started taking off.
Yeah. So, any questions, Chris?
I mean, not really. All I can really say is, well, do you think mudlarking is underappreciated?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because only people find, they only want, I should say, the complete items. They don't care about their history, they just want them complete. And I don't really believe you should sell your finds. I think you should keep them. Because if you sell them, who would have known to happen? They could smash in the parcel in the delivery.
Fund it.
Yeah. Anything could happen. The person you're delivering it to might smash it. You just never know. So I think you should always keep your finds where you found them. Make a studio, do anything, keep them. What about you, Chris?
I agree with you there. Like, sure, some things you might find could have a large profit. Such as, if you find a whole clay pipe, back in Victorian days, only the rich really had loads, didn't they? So you had to be pretty rich to actually own a clay pipe. And nowadays, you can probably sell it for quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
But like I said, over time, they've become more fragile because they've been in a river, probably getting a bit damaged and that.
Yeah.
So they're very fragile. And for all you know how parcel deliveries are nowadays.
Yeah.
Like smashing everything up in their lorries.
Yeah. So, yeah, most people, they don't look at the history of the little fragments. So today in my live stream with Chris, I was picking up all the broken pieces of pottery, for example. Those pieces of pottery, they tell so much of history. Most mudlarks, they don't look at. And me and Chris, that is what our aim is. We try to save the little fragments of history.
If you find a whole thing, well, that's just a bonus in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a bonus. So I wouldn't expect to find everything. Just find the little things first, and then if you find big things such as a flagon or even a whole bottle, which doesn't have to have embossing, just appreciate it.
I'm sure if you find any bottles with like a name on it, search it up on Google.
Yeah.
That's what I did with a bottle when I found out that one bottle is responsible for a whole range of bottles selling different types of coffee.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, dig into history. Don't throw away your finds. Don't sell your finds. Keep your finds. Anything you'd like to add to that, Chris? Oh
sorry.
dear, you nearly fell.
I nearly fell. But all I can 100% say is that keep the finds that you have, because, well, you never know, a few generations down the line it could still mean something. Keep them, pass it down through your family, and well, if your family sells them, well, just haunt them till
and your name will run through the family to say that you have found that item. You
have found that history.
So, Chris, what is your if you could describe a mudlarking in one word, what would it be?
It'd be harder to say in one word. It's gonna have to be two words, Adam.
Okay.
Saving history.
Absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. So also, as we're at the river, can you see all the plastic pollution? This is the thing that annoys us mudlarks. We find more plastic than treasure.
Exactly.
It shouldn't
Earlier,
be possible.
I found a tub, that I thought was back from Victorian age, but in reality it was just a plastic pot.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
It's too much. There's too much plastic waste here in England's rivers.
It's not only affecting us mudlarkers' work, it's also damaging the environment.
Yes, it is. So
well, if you keep doing this, there might not be much of an estuary left.
Yeah.
In 100 years.
You see all these birds flying here.
They won't be here.
You just never know. I see. Oh, sorry, Chris. I see rubbish there.
Yeah.
Where my finger was pointing. one of those birds could get their beak stuck, yeah,
and they suffocate.
and they'll die. Sadly, but that's what most people do. They litter. But today,
Bins are there for a reason.
bins are there for a reason, Chris. So I hope you all enjoyed this and our live streams today. Hopefully next week I'll get back to the edited videos. There will be a video out next week, and it's going to be the Let's Go with the Johnsons Mudlark Challenge. It was really cool. I found some good stuff. So I'll see you next weekend. But until next time,
Yeah.
bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.